Sing a song. Blee blah 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 blah. Blee blah 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 blah. 4 and 20 blackbirds. Blee blah 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 blah. Blee blah 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 blah. When the bird began to sing, wasn't that a dainty dish to set before the king? Blee blah 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 blah. Blee blah 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 blah. 4 and 20 blackbirds in a pie. Blee blah 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 blah. When the pie was dished to set before the king, sing a song of sixpence. Blee blah 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 blah. Blee blah 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 blah. Blee blah 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 blah.
Blah 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 blah. Blee blah 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 blah.
Wasn't that a dainty dish to set before the king? Sing a song of sixpence.
Song of sixpence, a pocket full of rye. How's everybody tonight? I hope everyone's keeping warm. And, oh, there we go. Oh, Thumbelina, Thumbelina, tiny little thing. Oh, I love that song. I've done it before. I know I'll do it again. Hey, my name's Quinlan. Welcome to Melbourne Musos. Face Chook Live. Destined for Channel 31. Oh, I'm trying to keep upbeat. Oh, it could be a very sad day. I mean, only 2 nights ago, I'll get this out of the way. Only 2 nights ago, my Astrid Gilberto show that I did 3 or 4 weeks ago went to air. And only this morning, I wake up on Friday mornings, I think, oh, I've got an idea. I'm going to play this, and I'm going to play that, or I'm going to do that. And then I look at the news and I go, another one's, there you go. And today was João Gilberto, Astrid Gilberto's husband. And yes, he passed away yesterday. And if Astrid Gilberto was queen of the bossa nova, Mr. João Gilberto was the king, and there you go. And good life, long, did okay, all that, ups and downs, in betweens. I mean, we are musicians after all, all that biz. And but bless him, I've already done it. I won't do a tribute tonight simply because I already have. And there you go. So there it is there. Now I've got triggers on. And what I have right here is an E Mixamatosis scale. Very happy scale when you want to do it like that. It's great in Celtic music. And I've done it before, but I'm doing again in relation to the subject matter of tonight. But the Mixolydian mode is the 5th mode of the major scale, and the steps of it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, flat 7, octave. And there you have it. Very happy scale, lots of... you know, great, terrific. Frank Zappa loved the Mixolydian mode through the mid-70s. He said it in his Guitar Player magazine interview. And there it is. I think I've got it in the other room. Might be, might be a bit of a collector's item. Might trade it in on a car. Anyway, but what I'm talking about tonight is a little bit of history here with a few little patches. Something simple. Something bobbed up today which is very, it can be close to the bone for a lot of you guys and gals out there, especially if you're fighting to get paid properly for gigs and things. If I'm going to go straight down, hello audience, but what happens is, you know, something akin to nursery rhymes is what I heard. Why are some nursery rhymes so scary? That's what we've got here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk a little bit about the history of nursery rhymes, which we take for granted, but sometimes I like to scratch the surface. What are the real meaning of the words, weasel words? I mean, George Carlin was a very famous comedian, God bless him, and he used to really do the edge, but towards the end, there wasn't a comedy routine. He was getting stuck right into weasel words, that kind of thing. I remember the one about shell shock, that kind of business, and how the words change, and this is okay, and that's all right, and we just change the words around. And akin to a nursery rhyme is a quote I heard today. Most nursery rhymes date from the 16th, 17th, and most frequently the 18th century. Apparently, most were originally composed for adult entertainment. Many were popular ballads and songs. The frog who would a wooing go. Woo, 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 wooing. There you go. First appeared in 1580 as a most strange weddings of the frog and the mouse. Hoo, 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 hoo. That's Encyclopedia Britannica. Yeah, swallowed a dictionary, mate. There you go. There it is. Oh, what was the first nursery rhyme in history? Ding Dong Bell is the oldest recorded nursery rhyme in the English language. In the earliest version of this rhyme, recorded in 1580 by John Lang, the organist of Winchester Cathedral, the unfortunate cat does not make it out of the well, and the bells are a death knell. You sing that to kids. Oh, there you go. All right. So that's what we do. And then what happens is when you're actually talking about nursery rhymes, and when you're actually talking about the way that they're constructed, we start to think a little bit musical, you see, because there's always a little bit of a story to be told. Now, if I go...
Sing a song of sixpence, a pocket full of rye.
What's that about?
4 and 20 blackbirds baked in a pie. When the pie was opened up, those began to sing. Wasn't that a dainty thing to set before the king? Sing a song of sixpence, a pocket full of rye. 4 and 20 blackbirds baked in a pie.
Heavy metal.
When the pie was opened up, those began to sing. Wasn't that a dainty thing to set before the king?
Hey, sixpence, a pocket full of rye. Oh, the king counting all his money. The queen doing something else. They're all over the place. Archie bargee, oh!
Blee blah 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 blah. Blee blah 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 blah. Blee blah 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 blah. Blee blah 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 blah. Blee blah 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 blah. Blee blah 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 blah. Blee blah 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 blah. Blee blah 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 blah.
Hey! Oh, blee, blah, 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 blah. I think regular watchers of Melbourne Musos live will catch that reference. Okay. Every one of those. Like to quote Frank Zappa, Dickie's such an asshole. Da, 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 da. Talking about one Richard Nixon back in the day and all that. We could just fast forward a couple of decades and away we go. So what happens is, what about all this business, okay? So when you've got different things like, I've got that one. What did I do? So,
Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall. Humpty Dumpty had a
Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall. What's the story? What's the storyline? All the king's horses and all the king's men couldn't put Humpty back together again. Scary. Oh, we sing these to kids. Oi! Now I'm going to go over to beat, seeing at some point I'm going to talk about drums. And what happens is that when you're dealing with things like Humpty Dumpty and the message of it, and I've talked about the Mixolydian mode as being a happy one with the flat 7. You see, you've got a normal major scale, flat in the 7th, bang, you're off. In other words, if you want to play, I've got this as an E Mixolydian, right? And what happens is I'm essentially taking away one of the sharps of A major, because E is the 5th of A for all you harmonically purposed drummers. And what happens is that by doing that, you're giving it a kind of a lilt, okay? And that's what goes on with that. Now, when you're doing 6/8, or it could be triplets if you like. And one of the little things that I'd like to talk about is a little thing called the rolling shuffle. I haven't talked about it in a little while. I'm going to do it again. So there you go. Now, if you take your 6/8 and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6/8, got 6 beats in the bar, 6, 8. The beats are quavers, 8 notes, 6, 8 notes in the bar. It's known as compound duple time. Look it up, and there you go. You go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1. Put the back beat on the 4, or if you want to do triplets, 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4, and a little snap, 1 and 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 5. Now, what happens when you're doing a rolling shuffle? You've got a couple of different kinds of shuffles in the same manner that you have different kinds of rock beats, you see. And the rolling shuffle is one where you'll take the 3s, 1 and a 2 and a, whichever way you want to count them, 4, 4, 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4, accent the 2 and the 4, 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4. Put the right hand on a cymbal. I'll do this one. 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4. And then put your bass drum in on 1 and 3. 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a... Mix it up. Oh, Humpty Dumpty had a good call. Hand it up.
Blee blah 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 blah. Blee blah 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 blah. Blee blah 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 blah. Blee blah 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 blah.
Oh! Edgy. That's what you got. And when you're doing that, now sometimes you can do a little bit of different things with your modes and all that stuff. What can happen is that if you are going to get into a little bit of a scary children's story, there's always the dark side to Cinderella. And when you're dealing with Snow White, you've got the old, clean version, but the darker German, Snow White and Rosenrot. And, the yin and the yang of different things, you see. And the idea of scaring the bejesus out of the kids with some of these scary stories is it's not really meant to scare, it's meant to prepare for the real world, is one quote. Get ready for ups and downs. And get ready also for dealing with adversity, and hopefully justice being done. I think you get the inside gist of this, like it's starting to get done today. And what happens, being Friday the 7th of July, if you want to take a note. And what happens is that, as well as that, it's preparing for life, like Halloween, okay, All Hallows Eve. But in Celtic, because I'm doing Beltane. The Beltane is the flowing of spring, the crops are being planted, a bountiful harvest, that kind of business. And when you're doing things like this with Halloween and All Hallows Eve, all this sort of business, there's a kind of a thing where not only are you sort of passing down to children stories that will get them ready for life, all this sort of stuff, but you're also giving them fascination, is some quotes, and igniting curiosity. This is part of why I'm doing this show, to ignite the curiosity, there you go. And what starts to happen there's always the yin and the yang and the ups and downs, and hopefully justice getting served, and they all lived happily ever after. Sometimes not, but that is life. That's what I talk about with even people like George Carlin, who I brought up just before. And there you have it, sort of thing. So what goes on is that actually when you're dealing with these kinds of, this kind of subject matter, scratch the surface of what Humpty Dumpty actually means. I love scratching the surface of things, of different stuff. That's one of the reasons why Big Ass Doris here has got the triggers on her, so I can actually harness the harmonic side of the evening. Sometimes, you're in a rehearsal, you're the drummer, and you're sitting back and you're sort of watching dare I say it, it's sort of one or two of the musicians saying, well, what's the next chord? What are you going to do here? And you're just sitting here going, it's an A flat 7. Come on, you need the flat 7. If the singer's singing that note, you've got to make that chord a minor, not a major. You're just putting the poor poppet out of tune. That kind of thing. Musicianship. Hey, hello, audience. And what happens... What happens is that when you're dealing with the mixolydian, there's your flat 7. Melody. B section. And that's what you have. You can come up with a little bit of a melody, you see. So when you're dealing with things like that, your normal thing is about 8 bars, 16 bars, sort of thing. You can have binary form. You can, like, We Will Rock You. You've got Buddy, You're a Boy, that's A section. We will rock you. Thanks, Robbo. That's the B section. You go backwards and forwards. And then you have the standard song, A, B, A, 8 bars. A lot of people call it the 32-bar song, all that sort of business. So when you're dealing with, I'm just going to go...
Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall.
No, I've done that one.
Old MacDonald had a farm.
E-I-E-I-O. Old MacDonald. Snouts in the trough. Hey! Hey! Uncle! Old MacDonald had a farm. And there you go. And what happens is that when you're doing things like that, everyone's all in. There you go. Set me loose in the little $2 shop. I was doing that this afternoon, and dear Marley over there came out, what the bloody hell's going on here, mate? I think I've got him on here somewhere. And then when you're actually doing things like Old MacDonald Had a Farm, try and, when you're playing, as in jazz, as in 32-bar song, as in the standards, all that stuff, you try and pick up bits of the melody. You be melodic with your drumming and all that. So if I did it again...
Old MacDonald had a farm.
Here we go. Hey, Donald had a farm. E-I-E-I-O. E. And then what can happen is that when you're actually putting some of these triggers in, like some of the things, this is where something like there's a bit of a recurring theme because it happens in all composition in some kind of way. You put in a bit of a contrast and stuff like that. Now, if I go to things like, George Harrison was big on it, turning a song that's in a major key and in the B section going to a minor key and all that while my guitar gently weeps. And you're going from, say, an A major to an A minor. It changes the tone, changes the mood of the tune. Now, the easiest movie to quote will always be Jaws, because you can have la 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 la, swimming in the nude, hey hey hey, skinny dipping, very happy, Not quite the right notes, but boom, 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 boom. You know. Okay, scary story. Hopefully happy ending. And there you go. I nearly went that way. And what happens is that when you're actually doing things like this, there's always the light and the dark. And there's, hopefully, we all lived happily ever after. Or the bad guys get their just desserts, that kind of thing. So when you're dealing with things... A bit darker. Thumbelina, see. Diddly-lit-dit-dit. Sober. I'm doing this sober. There you go. Editing cordial comes later. There you go. So when you're dealing with Thumbelina, I'm Hans Christian Andersen. That's me. Oh, Danny Kaye. The reason I'm being a bit silly tonight as I start to wrap this kind of crazy show up is Nursery Rhymes have reasons. And what happens is I heard the thing today about nursery rhyme. It's akin to reading a nursery rhyme. I'll leave you to the where I got that from on a day like today. And what happens is, we have all happy stuff, all that sort of biz. And then we have other stuff where we have to sort of, work with it. Like Dear João Gilberto today, right? And with the bossa nova. And the uncanny kind of thing that I did part of this show is, tributes when some of our much loved people, even the other day, I did the tribute to Tina Turner. I put on footage of the Big Red Bash and the world record last year, and they smashed it this year, and it was just on telly yesterday about how they smashed the record for most people playing Nutbush. So there's a tribute to that dear lady that I did last month. And then Astrid Gilberto. And I could easily do João Gilberto, but I've already done it with Astrid, kind of thing. With their checkered history and all that, with a saxophone player that will not be named. And, Dirty Mongrel kind of guy. And you all know who he is, you know the story. And if not, look it up, it's easy. And what happens is, you do things like this. But then, that's why we have wakes, to remember the good times and all this. Why we have nursery rhymes is for the kids to sing along and have a lot of fun. But there is a little bit of a dark side there. But then you can put in the subtext, you see. You can put in, like... Jack and the Beanstalky. Stalky? Ooh! I will wrap the show up now. Hey! I hope you enjoyed tonight's show. Hey, there you go. I'm off to put it all together for you. I'll have it up tomorrow. Oh, the scary story of
Blah, 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 blah.
Robo-Duck.
Humpty Dumpty had a great fall.
Oh!
Couldn't put Humpty together again. Humpty Dumpty sat on the wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. All the king's horses and all the king's men couldn't put Humpty together again. Humpty Dumpty sat on the wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. All the king's horses and all the king's men couldn't put Humpty together again. Humpty Dumpty sat on the wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall.
I don't know either.
All the king's horses and all